Hello guys and welcome back. In today's video we are gonna be building a simple toggle button using only CSS and HTML. So our final product will look something like this. The toggle button, we have two states with on and off, and we are gonna be adding a nice transition for the background and also for the thumb. See, it's very nice. So let's see how we can do that on HTML and CSS. Only with that, without JavaScript. So let's first add our DOM tree. So here we are going to specify our container, and inside this container for our toggle we are going to use the checkbox, input type checkbox. We are using this input type checkbox because we want to trigger the transitions when the input gets clicked. And we need our slider. We also are using another div, and let's give it a class of slider. And also for our container we are going to give it a class of toggle container. Okay, so this is all that we need for HTML. So we need our container, our input type checkbox, so we know when the toggle button is clicked, and then we also need a slider that will spread throughout this container, and it will have the actual thumb and the text. So let's now move on to the CSS part. Here we are going to create our class toggle container, and we need to specify first the position. So we are going to take advantage of the position. So when we are going to style our slider, we can position it wherever we want using the top, left, right and bottom properties. So for this you're going to use the position relative, and then we are going to specify a height, a width first, and a height of 40 pixel, 80 and 40. I misspelled something here. Happens. Height like that, and 80 pixels. Okay, and let's also add the background color so you see how it looks. Background red. So it's a little bit ugly. Yeah, I forgot I made the height too big, so now it looks a little bit ugly, but we are gonna style it forward. So yeah, let's now style our inputs. So we are going to use the toggle container class, and then inside this toggle container we are going to have an input, and let's give the input 100, the width 100%, and the height also 100%, because we are using this input to collect all the clicks that happen inside this container. So because it's really ugly like now, let's use the opacity 0, and now the input element, it's on the DOM, but you cannot see it. That's not a problem because the events that are going to be triggered on that input are there. So you see the width and height are spread, the input is spread across our container. So now we need to move on and style our slider. So slider position absolute, then let's use the top 0, right 0, left 0 and bottom 0. Okay, and now let's also specify a background color of aqua. So you see we have our slider that is also spread across our entire container. So we can get rid of this with the background with the color red. Okay, and now our our default color for our slider will be something like, I don't know, gray, a color, whichever you like. So this is the background for our thumb, for our toggle button, and now we need to move on to add our thumb. So for this we are using the slider, and we are taking advantage of the before pseudo class. So here we are going to also specify the position absolute, and now we have to specify the content, just an empty string, and now let's give it also a width of 20 pixels and a height of 20 pixels. We are using this before and after to insert our before to insert our thumb and after to insert our text. So this before it's available on all elements except on the inputs, because they cannot have content before and after them. Okay, and to enable this thing to work, you need to add the content, and here you can also specify a string like. Okay, and let's set the background color so you can see how it looks. Background color red. Oh, so you see we have our thumb there. We need to also move it a little bit down, so top 10 pixels. 8, 10 is too much. 8, or let's make it a little bit bigger, like 23. This should do the trick. So yeah, now it looks fine, but we also needed to move it a little bit down. So 9 pixels from top. Yeah, it should looks fine. And from the left, 4 pixels. I think it's enough. So 4 pixels. Now it works. It looks okay. Let's give it another color, like white. Yeah, white should be fine. Yeah. Not too ugly, not too good. So let's move forward. Now we need to add our text, and this text, first it needs to be on this part, on the right part of our container. So we are also using the slider, and then we are using the after, and after this slider we also need to use the position absolute, and then the content. Okay, and now let's specify the right, like 4 pixels, and say the content first will be off. So you can see our text is right on top, so we need to move it a little bit down. So top 8 pixels looks okay. So we'll leave it like that. It's 10 pixels. Okay, and now when we check our slider, we should, let's see, input checked. So when our input gets checked, we need to style our slider. Okay, and now we need to specify the background color, light blue, light sky blue. This is nicer. And you can see now it doesn't work because our slider, it's taking our slider, and also our toggle container, it's taking up all our pointer events. So we need to specify this pointer events none, on all the containers that are above our input checkbox. So pointer events here on the container, and we also need to do exactly that on the slider and also on the before and after. So we can when we click the off and our thumb, our toggle button also gets activated. And then we need to specify for the inputs events also. All the events that are happening inside our container will be delivered to our input. So when you click, you see that the background color gets changed on the slider, and this is exactly what we need. Okay, and now after this we also need to move our thumb. So to move our thumb, it's almost the same like we did for the background color. So input checked. Oh, I have a problem on checked plus slider, and then which was the one before. Let's move the thumb. So before, we will use the transform property and we will translate this on the x-axis by 25 pixels. Let's see. We need a little bit more, so 35. More. 45, 46. Yeah, now it's fine. Also 48. I think that's the lucky one. Yeah, now it's fine. And we also need to move this text off and also change it to on. So for this we are going to use input checked plus slider after and change the content to on. Let's see if it worked. No, I misspelled the slider. Now it should work. Yeah, now it works. And we also need to use the left property to align it on the left part. So left 4 pixels. And now you can see when you click on it, our thumb gets on the other side and our text also gets changed and moves on the other side based on the state of the button. But we don't have any transition, so let's add this on the transition first on our slider, so we have a smooth background change. Transition 0.2 seconds. Let's see now how it works. So now it's a little bit smoother, it's nicer. And also for the thumb, also added a transition, and now you can see it's very smooth. And next for our on and off, so it's not changed really quickly. So you can see that now it works. And this is a toggle button with rectangular form, so let's make it rounder. So for this we need to use the slider, and we are going to need another class. So let's see, let's add here another class called round. And here for the slider, when we have the slider and the round class, we are going to specify a border radius of 20 pixels. Let's see how it works. It looks okay. You can also specify a bigger value here if you want to be more rounded, so something like that. And then specify, let's leave it like 20. And then also for our thumb, let's specify our slider dot round dot before, and let's see here, border radius 50 pixels. Let's see how it looks. It looks nice. We also need to change the color of the text. So when it's on, it should be white. When it's off, we should leave it like, no, let's make it white. So color white, like that. So now when you toggle it, it remains white for all the states. So this is it, guys. For this toggle button, you need to create first a container, because you want your toggle button to have a desired width, and then you can use the checkbox input type to use the checkbox input to maintain a state of when your button is clicked or not. And then you can also use another div to have that slider and your thumb here. And if you want to add a text or something on your divs, you can also use the after and before, but you need to specify the content, because otherwise you cannot use them. So this should be it. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.